Welcome back to Local Decision. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rusty Ray. We're joined today by the mayor of Spring Lake Park, Bob Nelson. Bob, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
So this time around, appointed as mayor.
Yes.
After Cindy Hansen left, and then you were on council and moved in to the seat.
Correct.
And now the election, the special
Now the
election.
election's coming up, and this will be a 2-year term. And it's a 4-year term for mayor there.
Right.
But now it'll be halfway through, so then in 2 years I have to run again.
So, and you were mayor before this, several years back,
Yes,
correct?
several years back I was mayor. I was council member for 3 terms, mayor for 1 term. Now this year's stint, or a little over a year, and now the election comes, and then be 2 more, and then I'll have to run again.
Cindy had won an election a couple of years ago that was divisive leading up to it. The final vote really wasn't extremely close, but this just seems like there's been a lot of turnover at City Hall. She left, you're mayor, someone came in to council, and that happens from time to time. Does it seem like that kind of turnover is good or bad for a city of Spring Lake Park size?
Well, this year in some ways a little bad with all the projects we had going on and people coming in midstream, like with Hy-Vee coming in and how to do that, the stormwater pond coming in, where we're talking about a lot of dollars. Whether it was grant money that we got from Rice Creek Watershed for the stormwater pond over in Garfield in 81st Avenue. Hy-Vee was pretty much done, so it didn't get really affected there. The council members that came up caught on fast. One was from planning and zoning, so that made it a lot easier. They just weren't off the street, and they knew how government worked somewhat,
right.
You know, how City Hall worked, you know. So then when we came for the sale of the property on Osborne, the 525 property that we took in lieu of the payments out from the hospital district,
right.
Took 2 years to do that. We doubled our money. We'll have a mental memory center there, and that worked out. So, I mean, the 2 years that we took to do that, and then almost double our money, and then we could, with the new water pipes and the sewer and stuff going in, all the dead ends in one townhouse development there now will not have dead ends no more. The water will be looped. So if we have a water main break, they ain't out for 3 days. The rusty water, when we flush hydrants, all the settlement will be able to get out there. It'll be bad for a couple of weeks because there's all that stuff that's never been able to go anywhere. But once that's done, it's a great benefit to the city, infrastructure.
All of these things are just kind of core things, these services and all that you just described, those projects, all core services that a city offers. Is that really the bedrock of what your city is about, is providing those services? Because there's not going to be huge developments. There may be redevelopments, Hy-Vee, of course, the biggest one. There's not going to, in a sense, it's built out. There's not going to be these huge planned tracts of land. So these core services are something you guys can really spend some time on and deliver on once it's all finished. Correct.
You know, like we did the sewer lining, which dropped a lot of things down because the lift charges at the Met Council went down because we didn't have all the water infiltration.
Right.
So, I mean, we're doing things to better the community, lower water bills, do this type of thing, you know, because we are 98% developed. Like you said, we've probably got 10 empty lots, residential lots at the most in the city. A couple of them from fires and some different things were going on there. The church property where we just added 5 houses. And that type of thing. There's some commercial property behind the old City Hall back in the old days, just south of County Road J. Some of that in there, you know, that we're anxious to get developed and someday do something over where Nicolo's was, you know, where we have Sunset Grill and that strip mall will eventually sell or something, and maybe we can get that redeveloped and get some better businesses in, a little higher commercial tax base. Because I'm all for this new development and redevelopment on the commercial side to keep those taxes, to keep the bedroom community taxes lower, because we have a lot of people, it's changing, but there's a lot on Social Security and a fixed income. So it's very important not to tax them out of their house. We held it good this year, 2.2% increase, city's portion of the property taxes under these times. That's amazing. It's just, but we got a good city administrator and accountant, and we went through it all, and we talked and we talked and we talked, and here we are.
You mentioned it's changing. Talk more about that. What do you see in all your time living there and now serving there in these different capacities? and hoping to continue as mayor. How is Spring Lake Park changing? It may be obvious for some to see. If we only spend a little bit of time there here and there, we may not see it. Is it?
The demographics, the people are changing. Younger ones are moving in. Different ethnic backgrounds, different religions, that type of thing, and trying to make that all work because we treat everybody the same. We got to get it all together. I'm sad that we're canceling National Night Out this year because we had one person with the COVID. Right. But so many times that brings the community together in a non-public forum. You can chit-chat, all the council members and mayor get out and the cops get out and they have rapport and the city administrators there. So this year a lot of the new people are getting cheated in a way to meet all their neighbors and have some fun and break bread and watch the kids all play together and the things that make a community.
And that's the way city business gets done. That's how you find out what people have top of mind or are maybe most concerned about, and then you can have a dialogue about it there.
Yes. You know, that's so important these days, you know, with everything so divided, and try to not be divided and get it all going together. You know, we've seen it way worse in other states and big cities, but Spring Lake Park and Oka County, as a general rule, is fared very well on this. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of bad things happening here. And I'm proud of that with our law enforcement, our county sheriff. You know, Jim is just an excellent sheriff. And I've known him for years. In fact, I got him sleeping on a roof once for mental health way back when I was mayor the last time. So he's got the passion for the people, got the understanding for the people. Same with my police department. And, you know, the people need to trust him, want to know him, get to know him. That's one thing nice with 2.1 square miles. It's easy for residents to see the staff, whether they're public works, the park and rec, the police. You know, it's nice kind of being a small city like that.
What about COVID this year in terms of city business and city services? And, you know, you mentioned all these projects that you had been working on and the turnover at City Hall. However, is there anything that COVID has taken away from that the city really can be focused on, or you think should be focused on moving forward, that COVID has kind of either paused or even put back on the back burner?
Well, COVID put a huge stress on city staff. Park and rec, all our other extra programs, our travels, money's down that way. We get a lot of part-time college kids to work in the park and rec and in public works. They do a lot of the menial stuff, you know, mowing the ball fields, mowing the parks, weed whipping, and then my high-paid professional guys can go out and do what they need to do. So you're guaranteed water, you're guaranteed sewer. Every snow plow is worked on all summer long, so we can plow every street in the wintertime and not have it broke down, so you can get to work, the ambulance, the fire trucks, everything get through there. So this year's been really hard that way. Grass has been a little longer. We made it. We only had 3 part-time, and we usually have 6 to 7. But we wanted to dedicate a vehicle for each one person, because then that saved on the sanitation and the cleaning and the masks and the supplies. You know, PD was hit hard too, trying to respond to emergencies in a house and go in there because somebody has heart failure or fallen down, in the mask and the equipment and the rubber gloves and the fear in their own mind, because they're humans too. I mean, they're dedicated and they will get their job done, but at the end of the day, they're no different than me and you. You know, so that's always in the back of everybody's mind. You know, for us in the political aspect, getting out to meet the people and talk with them is very hard to do. You know, you got a Zoom with her, it's on the computer, and I'm kind of a face-to-face guy. I'm not good at Zoom, that type of thing. I don't excel at. You give me a call, I'll be at your house, let's sit in the front yard and we'll have a discussion, and that's how I like to do my business for the most part, you know. And then you get to know the people too.
That's right.
You know, it's a face-to-face. It's a lot different than picking up, John, you know, I see John, I heard his voice, but I don't know what his face is. Yeah. Next time I can wave up, hey John, hey Sue, whatever, you know, that's kind of nice. So it's been hard that way.
and the city got its share of some CARES dollars. And you mentioned before we started here that you have some businesses, maybe the city's able to help out. Is that right?
Right, yeah, there's been 9 businesses that applied, salons, the VFW, a couple of the bar restaurants in Spring Lake Park have come and applied. 9 of them came up. The city got roughly $471,000. Some of that will be used just in all the supplies city had to put up with all the sanitation, wipes and gloves and masks for the PD, for the park and rec. You know, there's a huge amount of money.
Yep.
And the prices went through the roof.
Of course.
I mean, when you could buy a 50-cent max and now all of a sudden it's $6, and even on a city quote, you know, from, it put a strain on it. I wouldn't have wanted to have been a first timer in this, because to get our city through what we did and come up with a 2.2% levy increase for the city, being green and going through all of this and the turmoil with the civil unrest, I think my experience that I've had there got us through this and made us be able to do what we're doing.
In public service for the number of years that you have and the races that you've participated in and won, do they provide an opportunity for you to see things that maybe you can look to tackle and bring up opportunities for conversation, whether it's a difference of opinion with an opponent or the supporters of someone else? Does it present an opportunity for a candidate like you to see things a little bit differently or try to approach things slightly differently as you move forward?
Well, if you've never been in city business or city politics and you get in and you're going to change the whole world overnight, you're sadly mistaken. We're a statutory city, so we have to abide by state law, state statutes, and that's the way we have to run it. To come in green and you've got projects halfway through, like with Hy-Vee, the 525 Osborne project, where the memory care facilities going in like that, if you don't know a lot of how that works and different grant monies you can apply for and go to do that. I mean, that's what made us pull this off and keep taxes so low this year, is just all my years of experience and staff, because I rely heavily on staff. And I've got a great team at City Hall. The people are just excellent. And the people should know that. You know, everybody there is dedicated. They give 110%. I mean, they love that city. Some of them live there, some of them don't, but they treat it like their own city.
Am I the 10th or 12th person this week that's asked you what is going on with Hy-Vee? Do people ask you that constantly?
Probably about the 50th or 60th.
Yeah.
It helped a little bit. They finally came out in the press and said it was COVID related.
Right.
And they were in the newspapers. But before they did that, I was 50, 60, 70 phone calls a day. Every time I went to the grocery store, every time the building was sinking, this was happening. I go, no, it's not. No, it's not. You know, it's, you know, we're getting blueprints now at the end of this month, the 28th. They're supposed to be in there. And we should be on track for them opening in April.
Certainly it feels like an amenity for the city. It feels like something that people really want there, and it will create all kinds of things, certainly jobs, but also just something new for the city and a new use of that land that was worked on very hard.
Right, and I'm hoping on one thing, it'll be a magnet to the city. In a lot of the older buildings that are sitting there, investors are going to come in, want to redevelop, so we can get some of the infrastructure on Highway 65 and elsewhere, County 10, to pull in, and some of the older places will get taken down, and new ones will be bring in, new jobs again, new tax base, a higher tax base because it's a new building.
Right.
And we're pushing very heavily on redevelopment. And in fact, the strip mall is just south of where Hy-Vee is. That just sold. It was in the paper for $1.9 million.
Okay.
They're looking at the parcel to the south of that, so they're either going to add on or there's going to be another strip mall. So that magnet, or what Hy-Vee is drawing in, is actually doing it. And the city don't have to do nothing. All these smart realtors and stuff, business owners, they see this. They know there's going to be the foot traffic or car volume traffic there. We can do this, and we'll be able to make a profit. The city will be better. We can keep the bedroom community taxes lower. So it's a win-win.
Okay. Bob Nelson, that's the time we have today. We appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
All right.